Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to today's English lesson. Today we're looking at the difference between formal and informal language. So let's see what those words mean. So the first one, formal language, is used for more official and serious purposes. The correct grammar and standard English should always be used. And the second one, informal language, is used for more casual and less serious purposes. Slang words and chatty language can be used. So, for example, if you were talking to Miss Wardle, you should make sure that you are using this type of language, formal language. And that is to show respect to Miss Wardle because she is our head teacher and you would speak to her in a different way as to what you would speak to your friends. Let's have a look more at this. So we have some statements here. Let's see if we can work out whether they are formal or informal. So the first one, uses correct grammar and punctuation. Right, this one sounds good. Sounds like what you should be doing. So this one is going to be formal. I'll put an F for formal. Next one, can use contractions and abbreviations. It's or TV. You also maybe, oh my God. If you were saying stuff like that, that would be informal. Informal. Uses a chatty tone. So it's like if you're talking to your friend, in which case that's going to be informal. Informal is like when we're chatting to friends. Uses a serious tone. Yes, so if I was talking to Miss Wardle, I would be using a serious tone. Or if I was writing a non-chronological report, I'd be using a serious tone. Or if I was writing a newspaper, I'd be using a serious tone because all of those writing include formal language. Okay, next one. Uses correct vocabulary. Oh, definitely formal. And we're going to be using our Tier 3 vocabulary when we do our non-chronological report. And that's our correct vocabulary. Can use text language and slang. Oh, no, definitely that's informal. Because we would want to use the proper way of saying things if we were doing a non-chronological report or any sort of formal language. Okay, so here are some different scenarios, situations that you might have to do as you get older or in life. What sort of tone do you think that you would have to use when you're doing each one? We'll start with this one, talking to friends. Do we think formal or informal? I'm going to say that that one is informal because we can use a chatty tone with our friends. Pause the video now and write just letters to go with what each of these statements. Would it be informal language that you'd use or formal language that you'd use? Press play when you're ready to find out the answer. Okay, so first one, writing a job application, formal. And I know lots of people have been rejected for jobs that I've seen because of their language. They've used informal language. And that's why they've not been given a job. So we need to make sure we use our formal language on job applications. Next one, writing a letter to Gran. Well, I think this one depends on how well you get on with your Gran. I'm going to say informal. But I've had some scary Grans in my life and I might have done formal. So I think that one could be both. Next one, talking to the head teacher, definitely formal. To show respect, to show that we are polite Year 3 children. We will speak in a formal way. Sending a text to a friend, that's going to be informal. Because we're going to be chatty. Oh, and this one, writing a letter to the Queen. We definitely would need to be formal. So we would want to impress her with our brilliant English. That one's formal. Okay, so I have got 2 emails here in front of you. I'm going to read both of them. Then I want you to pause your video and tell me whether they are formal or informal. Let's start with this one. Dear Sir, Madam, I am writing to inform you of my upset when I opened the lucky dip bag I had recently purchased with my own pocket money. I was disappointed to find that my favourite toy brand had been replaced with an inadequate copy, which even had pieces missing. I shall expect to be fully compensated for the distress and inconvenience this experience has caused me, and hope that you send a replacement promptly. Yours sincerely, Miss F. James. Hi Kerry, you know the lucky dip bag I bought when we went into town yesterday? Well, you'll never believe what happened when I opened it. There was a broken copy of the toy instead of the real thing. I was so shocked and annoyed that I've emailed the company to tell them what I think. I hope they send me a new one ASAP so I can complete the set. Was your pack okay? I hope so. See you soon, Frankie. Okay, pause the video now. Tell me which one is formal, which one is informal. Okay, and here are the answers then. This one on the left was the formal writing. This one on the right was the informal writing. And there are ways that we could spot this. So for instance here, Frankie used her full name, Miss F. James, instead of here where she just said Frankie, even though it's the same person. We also saw here, it says, Dear Sir or Madam. And here she said, Hi Kerry, just like hi instead of dear. We can see in the informal bit she's used contractions, so remember 2 words brought together. You, will, you'll. And then she's used ASAP, which is an acronym. Things like OMG is also an acronym. It's letters that mean a word. So ASAP means as soon as possible. OMG means oh my God, that would be informal. You tend to use as well exclamations in informal texts. And we can see here right at the bottom as well, she said C, the letter C instead of C. And that is a big no-no. You would never ever do that in formal writing. Okay, let's have a look how we know that this is formal then. So other than dear sir and madam, we've got big words like experience, replacement, promptly. That means quickly. Compensated, so she's asking for her money back. I was disappointed instead of I was not very happy, yo. These are all formal ways of saying things. Also inadequate. So really, really good use of vocabulary here in comparison to this informal letter. Okay, year 3, you're going to have to help me with this one. So this person, definitely not me, has written a paragraph about different types of volcanic eruptions. So let's have a look what they've written. Volcanoes all gonna erupt different cause like every human, every volcano is different. Okay, fine. Some volcanoes go pow and explode ash and rock all over the place. These are called explosive eruptions. Okay, good. Good technical language. On the flip side, some volcanoes don't go pow and the lava just comes out all soft like. Okay, so our writer has written about effusive and explosive eruptions. So hopefully you remember the difference. An explosive eruption is when there is an ash cloud and it does go pow. They have a point. Just like the one at Pompeii, and it lets out loads of ash first, then loads of rock and then lava. And then the effusive eruption was when the lava just comes out gradually and it sort of oozes out. So let's see if we can rewrite this so it sounds a little bit more formal. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Volcanoes all gonna erupt different. Okay, so we can start with the same word, volcanoes all, and instead of gonna erupt different, we can say all erupt differently. We can use an adverb. Different, remember tricky spelling, differently. Cause like every human, every volcano is different. Okay, we can keep that bit, but instead of cause, we need to use the proper word, which is because. Because like every human. Oh, they have used a comma correctly, so we'll keep that comma there. Because like every human, comma, every volcano is different. Different, full stop. Okay, this next bit says, some volcanoes go pow. Now, do you remember that word we used? Begins with a V. Hopefully you're shouting it in the screen. Violently. So we can use that in our writing. Some volcanoes go pow. Okay, so we can say some volcanoes. Now, the special word for go pow is erupt. So some volcanoes erupt. Again, another adverb, violently. Violently. Or you could use aggressively, dramatically. Some volcanoes erupt violently. So remember, keep checking back your work. And explode ash and rock all over the place. Okay, we can say some volcanoes erupt violently and ash. Oh, we can keep that actually. Explode. Ash and rock. Instead of all over the place, I'm just going to put everywhere. Because we don't have to always write what's the longest. These are called explosive eruptions. Right, I'm going to keep that exact same because that's my technical language. There we go. Then the writer has written on the flip side. Okay, so starting a sentence, it's like starting with but we're not allowed to start with but, so we start with that word that begins with H. Well done. However, and we do need a comma. However, comma. Some volcanoes and then it says don't go pow. We can just leave that out because that's a bit confusing. Some volcanoes, we can say erupt differently. Erupt differently, and the lava comes out. What could we use instead of this? All soft like. So we could say comes out gradually. That means little by little. Or we could say little by little. That would be fine. Comes out gradually. So let's read my sentence. However, some volcanoes erupt differently and the lava comes out gradually. Right, the writer here has forgot to tell the reader what this is called. We can add that in. So full stop, we'll just finish off the sentence by saying, these eruptions are called effusive eruptions. I've got boxes here that I can't go over. There we go, full stop. And just like any good writer, you always, once you finish, go back and check it makes sense. So, from the beginning, volcanoes all erupt differently because like every human, every volcano is different, full stop, capital letter. Some volcanoes erupt violently and explode ash and rock everywhere. These are called explosive eruptions. However, some volcanoes erupt differently and the lava comes out gradually. These eruptions are called effusive eruptions. Fantastic, so we have just changed this informal into formal by changing some of the language and making sure that we get rid of any chatty words like cause or go pow or all soft like and all of those things. And what we've just done there is what you are going to do in your task today. So you have a paragraph, subheading and paragraph about volcanoes and where you can find them. It is written informally and you need to have a go at writing it formally. I'm going to give you a couple of tips now. Feel free to rewatch this video. Feel free to rewatch the example because it might help you. Okay, where can I find volcanoes? You're not going to see active volcanoes in England, so dream on. The nearest active volcanoes to us are in Spain and France, but if you want to see volcanoes, the best place to go is the Ring of Fire. 3/4 of the world's volcanoes are in this super duper cool part of the world that surrounds the Pacific Ocean. Even the world's largest volcano, with the sick name Ojos del Salado, is in the Ring of Fire in a country called Argentina. So, a few top tips. There are some good vocabulary there that you'd want to keep, which I'm underlining in green. These are facts as well. 3/4 of the world's volcanoes are in this part of the world. That's all true. You're not going to see active volcanoes in England. That's all true. But you might want to change things like wanna. But if you wanna, it's going to be want to. Or in order to see volcanoes, la la la. Your, remember, no contractions. So you need to put you are. And make sure you get rid of any chatty vocabulary. So with the sick name, we don't want that. So in year 3, this is the first time that we've been doing non-cron reports. This is the first time that we have looked at formal language. I am not there to help you. It's not as easy as it's going to be in school. So all I would like you to do is just to try your best today. Have a really good go at changing what you've seen here, this informal language, and just seeing if you can make it sound a little bit better, a bit more formal. So just have a go. As always, I'll be here if you need me. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Bye bye.